Picture this. You're standing in a Beijing lab, watching a mouse that was completely paralyzed. At first, it wobbles. Then, almost like someone flipped a switch, it starts padding around the cage. No brain chip, no gene splice, just a microscopic battery swap for its brain cells. Intrigued? Stick with me, because we're about to see how the same trick might one day help people. First, the headline. Scientists are testing dissolvable microspheres. Think of them as tiny delivery trucks, stuffed with thousands of fresh mitochondria. When a cell's own power plants sputter, these newcomers plug in, pump out energy, and give the tissue a second wind. Early animal data hint that the treatment doesn't just slow damage, it can actually bring lost function roaring back. Big claim, right? Let's unpack it. The key idea is simple. Many stubborn diseases, from Parkinson's to heart failure, boil down to an energy crisis. Cells know what to do, they just don't have the juice. Traditional drugs hand out new instructions, but they leave the broken hardware in place. Mitochondrial capsule therapy tries a different angle. Swap in upgraded hardware and watch the system reboot. Signpost number 1. How do you build a capsule that delivers living mitochondria without wrecking them on the way? Researchers start by harvesting mitochondria from carefully screened donor tissue. The organelles go straight into an ice-cold, protective buffer, basically a life support bath, until they're packaged. The capsule itself is engineered Goldilocks style, not so big that the immune system tackles it on sight, not so small that it gets flushed away before reaching its target. Once inside the body, warmth dissolves the shell, leaving mitochondria right next to the struggling cells. Now, here's the clever part. Cells already have built-in pickup routes for sharing parts under stress. Endocytosis, membrane fusion, even tiny tunneling nanotubes, yes, that's a real term, act like loading docks. The transplanted mitochondria hitch a ride through those same docks, sliding into the host cell's existing network. Result? A power surge exactly where it's needed. Signpost number 2. Source matters. Matching species is non-negotiable, but subtler factors, like the donor's age or metabolic profile, also shape how well the new engines mesh with the old. Too much mismatch, and the immune system quietly flags the imports. No dramatic rejection, just a slow fade of benefit. That means donor selection is quickly turning into its own mini-industry. Because the therapy never touches nuclear DNA, regulators can't file it neatly under gene editing or classic cell therapy. It lives in a gray zone. So trials have to tick 2 boxes: short-term boost and long-term safety. Do borrowed mitochondria behave politely, or do they push cells toward runaway growth? Early signs are reassuring, but watchdogs want years of follow-up. Let's jump from the lab to the clinic for a second. Researchers are already aiming capsules at more than movement disorders. 1. Heart teams inject them around damaged muscle to steady rhythm and pumping strength. 2. Eye specialists slip them into retinas to keep photoreceptors alive. 3. Metabolic groups target liver and skeletal muscle, hoping to tame the oxidative storms that follow major surgery. So far, single doses can keep animals humming for weeks to months. But remember, cells recycle their parts constantly. Picture swapping a car battery. Eventually, you'll need another. Future protocols will likely schedule boosters timed to each tissue's natural turnover rate. Alright, fast forward with me. Imagine a hospital fridge stocked like a coffee shop menu. Motor cortex blend, cardiac repair mix, retinal rescue set. A stroke patient rolls in. Within hours, an infusion stabilizes the most vulnerable brain regions. Surgeons dip donor organs in tailored capsules before transplantation, buying precious time while blood flow normalizes. Even aging research groups picture frail seniors getting microdoses in hip muscles before rehab to cut fall risk. Will everyone get the same schedule? Probably not. Think vaccines. Kids, adults, and seniors all follow different calendars. In the mitochondrial world, athletes with rare muscle disorders might time doses before brutal training blocks, while cancer patients use them to blunt chemo fatigue. Clinicians will be less like mechanics fixing one part and more like conductors tuning an orchestra of tissues over decades. Reality check. We're still in prototype land. Dosage, donor matching, long-term monitoring, those maps are half-drawn at best. But if coming trials confirm what we're seeing in mice and early primate studies, medicine could shift from managing decline to periodically recommissioning tired tissues, more like rebuilding a classic car than junking it for scrap. Take a breath and let that sink in. So here's what we covered today. Your quick recharge. 1. The core problem. Many major diseases are, at heart, an energy shortfall inside cells. 2. The proposed fix. Dissolvable microspheres packed with healthy mitochondria that slot right into stressed tissue. 3. Delivery secrets. Protective buffers, Goldilocks-sized capsules, and hijacking natural uptake pathways. 4. Real-world testing. Movement disorders, damaged hearts, failing retinas, each showing early but promising results. 5. The road ahead. Booster schedules, personalized donor matching, and regulatory hurdles that will decide how fast this reaches your local clinic. And here's your power move. Before next week's episode, ask yourself 3 things. If these capsules were offered tomorrow, which condition that matters to me, heart failure, long COVID, Parkinson's, would I actually consider it for, and why? Looking at my own habits, sleep, exercise, maybe that extra late-night screen time, which one tweak could give my mitochondria a breather over the next 7 days? Finally, if I had 20 minutes to brief a friend or doctor, which 3 talking points from today, mechanism, early data, safety, would I highlight to keep the chat honest and grounded? Do that mini exercise, and you'll be miles ahead when this therapy lands in mainstream headlines. Thanks for listening. Keep yourselves charged, and I'll catch you next time.